What's up? What's happening, everybody? What's how you doing? Yeah, we're here. I was about to say GRG, but it's not GRG, ladies and gentlemen. This is the
Really?
crossover. This is the crossover. There is no more GRG for the year. It's only the crossover. We're gonna try to get some Devin the Gamer tomorrow and my thoughts. I'm gonna be doing double duty today because right after I get done with this, maybe 30 minutes after, after I get up, move around, I'm coming back again and doing finally doing my thoughts, talking about PlayStation. Is PlayStation in trouble? I'm sure that we'll be trying to talk about that a little bit here. And so anyway, let me get my partner in crime over here. You know what I'm saying? The Sleepy Hatter. You know what I'm saying?
Mad sleepy.
Mad sleepy. That's what we gonna call him. We got the Wiper and Viper. Yeah, we got the.
Is he in the chat?
No. He's not in the chat, but it's gonna. But anyway, he's probably over there wiping tail right now as we speak. Anyway, shout out to Viper doing what he's doing. But what's going on with you, Ham? How's your weekend been?
It kind of sucked. I've been sick the whole damn time, so I've been trying to I've been having to push myself to play some of these games, and my sleep schedule is, if it wasn't messed up before, it's completely ruined right now. But I ain't dead, so I'll be all right.
Good deal. You said you are not dead, and we are happy about that. We don't want you to leave yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's still, you're a young pup. I keep forgetting, man. You're like what, like 19 or some shit like that? Even though you look 50.
What's wrong with you?
I know how old you are. I just was trying to, throw a nice insult. That's all. Yeah, I know you're like, what, 30, 33, 34, something like that? 35?
I am 35.
Oh, man. I remember when I was 35. I damn sure wasn't doing this. I was out in the streets. Well, no, I would be working, and then I would be hitting them streets. Woo, let's go. Anyway. Oh man, yeah, I didn't game as much as I wanted to this weekend. I was with my mom. She is improved a lot. She's in rehab right now, and next weekend I'll be taking her home, but she has to have a home nurse because she's still not out of the woods, but she's done. But the like I said, she's part demon because there was no way in hell she should have survived all the stuff that happened. Two heart attacks in 2 weeks. That's nuts. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy and appreciative for all the prayers and everything. But but she's in rehab right now, trying to get everything back in order. So wishing her luck. I was with her, but I threw my hat in the ring for this, for when I had the time to game and played some Madden. I'm 0-7 right now. I'm cooking myself because there's games that I had the opportunity to win. I had that game recorded while I was playing against the Raiders, and I threw an interception. I gotta stop throwing so many interceptions. I'm trying to get the feel of it, and I'm still not getting that feel yet. But there was only one time that I played against a team that was not the Eagles, 49ers, Cowboys, or Ravens. Every game that I played except for one so far has been against those teams. So it's already set to where people only want to play with the top tier teams. Nobody seems to be true fans anymore. They just want to play with whatever. I'm going to play with my Rams regardless. I don't care if they 1-10 or if they 16-1. It doesn't matter. My Rams.
When we played, I played with the Bears.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? We fans here, but it's nuts to see like, you could tell like people just because they play with the system, especially when they're playing with Lamar. From the Ravens, how they want to try to run out, do that. I mean, the defense is a lot better on pursuit when you got a running quarterback, but then they make these adjustments and all that stuff. It's just something that I have to learn and to get adjusted to because I was late. I got Madden, but I was late to play it because Starfield and then Armored Core and other games came out, and I didn't get a chance to really get Madden, play Madden like that. And I haven't even got 2K. I normally get those games day one. But I'll pick up 2K probably in February or something like that because January is Tekken month. There's nothing else that matters except for the Mighty Tekken next month. But yeah, but I got my head beat in. My first game, it was just a lacking. I got a message saying how much I sucked, which I did. He beat me 48 to 9. I only kicked
God
three.
damn.
Yeah, bro. I got a beaten. I was drunk too. I was over there. I was drinking. Because I played some Halo, got through some Halo, and I'm like, I want to play some Madden. So I jumped in. Don't play. Yeah, I can't do that no more. Be lit and try to play some Madden, especially when I haven't been playing. Oh my goodness, yeah, I got my
shout out to K
in.
Mega though. Let me give you your flowers though, real quick.
Okay.
I don't know too many content creators or anybody that talk about their L's. So shout out to you. Because because that's a real thing that people need to talk about. Everybody hop online and act like they the undefeated like Dolphins or something like that.
Right.
I ain't been beaten yet. I like I'll never hear nobody don't never talk about they mishaps. You the only person I know that actually says, yo, man, I need to get my shit together.
Right, bro. Like and I'm 0-7. So like, I mean, I was mad last night. I was pissed because I had it on my mind the ass whooping that I got, right? And so, because the last game that I played, it was closer. It was like a 24 to 20, or it was 20. It was 20. That person won. And it was 24, and it was like I had 20 or I had 19, something like that. It was real close. Came down to the wire. And then my last game for the night, that's when I played against the Raiders guy or girl, whatever. And I had the game-winning drive. I'm right there on the 5. And I throw a pass, and it's true. I'm like, it's Stafford, game winner. I'm about to, what I'm saying? I'm recording this match, and all of a sudden, linebacker just came out of nowhere and just snatched the jaws of just took it away from me. I mean, I got the GGs from dude, which was cool, but I'm 0-7. So I got to get it together. So now my mind is set on Madden. So after I do my thoughts, that's exactly what I'm going to jump on and try to get my squad correct, because I got to get my shit together. So appreciate that though. But I mean, that's just what it is, man. If you game, you're going to take L's, and that's just a part of life and just anything. So lessons learned.
I know you asked already, and as for what I've been playing as of lately, I gotta throw out 2 games in particular. I've been playing a few different games, and I'm sorry my breathing's a little fucked up because of me being sick.
Yeah.
But man, I'm like breathing way more than I usually do. Oof. Which is nuts. Or harder. I shouldn't say way more, but harder.
Yeah, my wife had it. My wife has added, like, so, we talked about it earlier. So yeah, no, I know what you're going through. It's no joke.
Yeah, it's just a lot of congestion, so I have to like breathe slower and everything, right? So but 2 games I have to shout out. Vampire Survivors has been keeping your boy comfortable while he's in bed. That game right there has a lot of DLC in it and a lot more stuff to do. So shout out to Vampire Survivors for supporting their game continuously.
You love that game.
And then honorable mention real quick, that's not part of the 2, is NBA 2K24.
See, I gotta play that.
Been playing that with Matt. That game's nice, smooth. I actually like the shooting better in that game.
Really? Okay.
Bro, you remember me, Mr. Yeah. I want to be a center.
Right.
This time I'm pulling up.
Okay.
I'm pulling up. I'm hitting threes, but see, I learned my lesson. I turned the shot meter off right at the jump. I was like, let me just see, how the ball come off their fingers, right? And that's been working really good for me. Like not having that extra little distraction meter pop up on the side. Same with free throws. Oh man, I was killing it. A few different games, so it wasn't just like a fluke. But anyways, the main game that I wanted to talk about is the game that you playing here on the screen, bro. And I tell you what, this game right here has been giving me some ups and downs.
Okay.
The upsides about it is just how beautiful it is, how much fun it is. Yesterday I played it multiplayer with Matt for a little bit. That was dope.
Nice.
Finally got a mount. Have you got to that point yet?
No, not yet. I should have been had a mount, but I know that you can get one. So yeah, so you got one.
Yeah.
Nice.
That world is big.
Bro, I told you.
I got a mount and I started flying, and I was like, man, this is taking me a long time to get
flying.
over here.
You're not riding on a mount. You're just flying.
I'm flying.
Okay, because you can ride on a mount too.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Yeah, because I've seen
but I'm just like
to do it too. But you can link up with. But I haven't. Like I said, I was too busy running around. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Bro, I took flight, and it's still taking me a hot second to get from one point to another. And it's just a big game. I like that. I tell you what, this game, Avatar, it's not something that you can just pick up and figure out in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. No. It's going to take a few sessions of you sitting down and just understanding what the hell is going on. Especially like when you're talking about like missions and stuff like that, because I was running around just hitting hitting what was that? Hitting X and whatever on everything, right? I was just like, but then I realized, oh, this clue is supposed to go with that clue over there to solve part of the puzzle, and it's like, and this is kind of what I love and hate about it at the same time, is that it seems kind of like I'm playing, man, like Private Eye.
Yeah.
Right. And I like that sometimes, but I don't want to do it all the time. And sometimes it's like starting to seem like I'm doing it a lot. And it's like, all right, can we just get on with this? Like, not every mission needs to feel like this, but then once I figure that out, then that mission gets to kick in. And those missions get to be pretty nuts, pretty tight, pretty heartfelt.
Yeah.
So it really is a game that I'm gonna tell you this straight off the jump. It does not respect your time. It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't respect your time.
No.
At all. No. But if you enjoy, if you enjoy something that's thorough, this game is it. This game is very thorough. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like, that's what I was trying to explain to you about it. And that's why I was saying, like, for me, and I didn't think about Halo because the story dropped in December, but I'm still saying that Avatar is probably the best, December release in a hot minute. I said 10 to 15 years. I'll definitely say good 10 years. I mean, I'm saying, and that's even with Halo Infinite being included, because like you were saying last week, was basically the co-op is at least there and stable at launch. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So and this is one of
the that was supposed to be some disrespect at Halo. Right, that was supposed to be some disrespect because they should have had that shit at launch.
They should have had that shit at launch.
This game did it.
Yeah, no,
and it did it. And I looked over at Matt running, and it wasn't him glitching around. It was him running smooth, and I'm like,
is it
like at launch?
Is it a tethered to where you can only go so far, or is it
no? I fast traveled and he stayed there.
What?
I fast traveled and he stayed there, and I was like, "Yo, I'm over here," and he's like, "Where you at?" And I looked at my map and I was like, "Oh, bro, you got fast travel where I fast traveled." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Well,
so, we were like 2 miles away from each other.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
That's crazy. I can't wait because I'm going to get back on it. I was just telling you about my.
There may be a tether, but we just didn't find it.
Well, if you can fast travel and go to that, maybe not. Maybe it's just that you can just open up whatever, and whatever Matt opened up that you didn't open up. Is it opened up when you're single player, or is it
What do you mean?
Okay, like the parts that you haven't touched is cloud. It's cloudy, right?
Right. Cloudy.
Yeah. So like
Cloudy
when,
pit.
yeah. And then so like
Remind me
when,
of Andre 3000. Cloudy
right.
pits.
But if you get to one spot, let's say Matt got to one area, right? And
Right.
you haven't been to that area. Is it open for you when you play your single player game aspect of it? You would think it might, because it's kind of seemed like it's connected, but
It's as far as the story is for the person that is hosting the game.
Okay. All right.
So
Okay.
I was hosting the game last night. He isn't as far as me.
Mm-hmm.
See, I feel like some of it was a little not the best for his experience. So like I'd have to constantly point out where we're going. But then again, he's playing on explorer mode where I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm playing on guided.
Explorer
Because
mode. You'll run around in a circle
I
and don't know
was
what you're doing.
lost out there,
Bro, I
bro.
try to tell you. You'll
I
get lost
was
out there.
lost out there. I was like, "Yo, where is anything?" These like they be telling you like west of the tree, north of the base, or something like that, and it's just like, yo, and this is where I say this game don't respect your time.
No.
Because I'm just like, no, we're not doing that. You're telling me where I need to go.
Right.
And even sometimes I'm on guided, it still doesn't exactly tell you where to go. Like it doesn't exactly tell you like not everything's like, just because I have it on guided doesn't mean everything's like lit up, right? It's not. It's still some it is the weirdest guided mode that I've ever seen, because it still kind of forces you to explore. Which is kind of cool, but at the same time, if you are trying, you ain't speed running this shit.
No, ain't no way. There's no way. No way. Because the way that even if so like the great thing about it is like with the navigating, and it's so frustrating at first, like because I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? I don't know where the threaded river is. But you gotta open up the map to see it. So so when they like, if you like, because I like to just kind of go and just do stuff just to see what I can do before I start doing the story mode. And so I'm going here and it's telling me to go to this northwest threaded river, like 2 blocks down the road or some shit. Like how the directions are. And so I'm like, what? And I was running in a circle the whole time trying to find this one area. I just so happened to find it by just going off and just doing something else. And I'm like, damn, this is where this hut is. Oh,
yes, you will get lost. Sometimes you're damn near giving up.
Right.
Sometimes you're damn near giving up. You're just like, dude, I can't find this shit.
Right.
And then you walk up and you're like, oh, shit's on fire. you're like, I think I might be here.
Right. Yeah. And then like just, I love it, like the the way that the environment is, because when it storms, it doesn't happen all the time, but then when it does, when it's like the storms are really heavy, you get the lightning strikes and all that. Man, the game is just great. I was we were both reluctant on the game.
I got hit by lightning.
Did you? Oh yeah, it'll tear your ass up. I didn't get hit by lightning, but but this was crazy. I was getting chased by those dogs.
Right. Yeah.
But not the mutated dogs. They're real big. I don't know if you got to see them yet, but there's some mutated ones out there, and they're huge.
Man, I've been chased by I don't know how many different things, bro.
And then they're huge. And them big it was 3 of them, and them big bastards was I was like, oh man. And I'm like, it's raining. I'm going. This lightning struck, hit one of them, and then the other 2 ran off. Because that motherfucker went, and then I looked back, I saw him get the electricity on him and stuff. Like just random things like that is just, I don't know. I do recommend people to go check out Avatar for sure. If you don't want to, pick it up to spend the money on it to buy it. Hey man, what I've been trying to tell people, I've been promoting it, man. Services is the way to go. Get that Ubisoft Plus. It's going to pay for itself because there's games that's going to be coming out. Like I'm recommending this. Prince of Persia is going to be coming out here next month. I'm buying that game though. And then the Star Wars game is going to be coming out sometime next year, and on top of other stuff that Ubisoft is going to drop. Yeah, Outlaw. So so I think, and then of course there's still the Assassin's Creed. that's
And
available. Yeah,
Motorfest.
yeah, and Motorfest, which Motorfest is really good. So you can do
It
that.
is.
But let me read this super chat, man, and let's get to well, because we talked about games, but let's get to the business at hand. Speaking of business, Sir X Man, appreciate it, man. He said business welfare apocalypse is here for Sony. You know. My thoughts video is definitely going to be talking about Sony, but I guess we can go ahead and we could talk a little bit about this right here. I'm going to just post this. I'm going to post it again tomorrow. I mean, later on when I do my thoughts today. But I'm gonna post
I
this here
swear,
too.
Weapon Wheel is the only PlayStation podcast out here
Keeping it real,
saying it like it is,
oh, man,
saying it like it is.
man.
Because I'm looking at Jack Move Johnny and Broken Games HDR. Man, they are not happy.
Bro, it's not. You can't be happy with this trash. Okay, so here, Jason Schreier, you know what I'm saying? He comes out here and he's talking about Sony's prioritization of the biggest games and studios have created a ripple effect all across the organization. For example, over the last year, Sony's Bend Studio, once seen as a rising star, has been assigned to support Naughty Dog and fear becoming Naughty Dog North. What, like, remember about creative freedom? Remember about what we supposed, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you let these studios do what they're supposed to do? Like let them have their creative freedom to make the games that they envision. If that's the case, you sit there and you shut down a game that a lot of people thought was really good. It had a bad launch. It took a year for them to get it together with Days Gone, but I thought Days Gone was a really good quality game, especially for a first entry title. It had a lot of potential, right? Shut it down, didn't sell enough, right? And now you're going to force this company, well, I guess pretty much not force because people can leave if they want to, but have them become Naughty Dog. And on top of that, you mean to tell me that Naughty Dog can't, the studio of studios, the god tier studio can't walk and chew gum at the same time by making a multiplayer and a single player game at the same time experience when they've already done it before? I don't know. Ham, what's going on here, man? I mean, can we finally hear people come out and say Sony looks like they are in more trouble than what some people are trying to perceive that they're not?
It really doesn't seem like it, because I mean, people are falling on the sword that ain't got nothing to do with the inside business of Sony, and they're just not calling it out as it is. So it's actually kind of irritating to see, because people would not do this same have the same sentiment if Xbox was in any of this situation at all.
No.
It would be, they closing up shop, they're over with. It's they're a non-issue, right? So nah, man, I until PlayStation literally gets just ran over, the media is gonna act like whatever they're doing is fine. And by ran over, I mean Xbox is cooking and you cannot ignore it. That's what I mean by ran over. Like this year was like, in my opinion, for Xbox, this year was like a qualifying lap.
Yeah.
And then next year, if Xbox keeps up that same momentum, it can be a problem. It can really, really be a problem. So, I mean, I'm just more or less saying, all right, y'all still don't see it, y'all see it soon. That's fine.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing right here.
My whole thing is just going ahead, keep doing this, keep this energy. Go ahead and do it. Make a fool out of yourself. Have at it.
Man.
I'll be in the stands eating my popcorn, watching, enjoying myself, asking for another beer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't no thing to me. Go ahead and publicize all the craziness. I mean, I've seen it for years at this point now, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Go ahead and do that. Go ahead and keep doing that, and watch how quick you backtrack once people don't start buying that bullshit that you selling.
Right. No, I agree 100%. Now, this is what's really crazy is that this is posted in 2021, right? I showed this on purpose. The writing was on the wall then. The writing was on the wall at the end of the generation with people starting to leave, when things weren't happening the way that, you know what I'm saying? Like it started to get a little bit strange, a little dicey. But nobody didn't want to talk about it because, of course, Sony just, it is what it is. Now we in a point to now it's everything that's again, nobody can dispute to say that PlayStation, this is not the worst year that PlayStation has ever had in its existence, because 2023 has been an awful, like I said on GRG, trash ass year. And I don't use that word trash like that. I just don't. I don't like saying it when when somebody says, if there's a game I don't like, I'm not going to call it trash. I just say it's, just not for me. But Sony's 2023 was trash. Spider-Man is the only thing that saved it. Nothing else, it wasn't Final Fantasy. They didn't buy it. When you over here port begging for games that are not, that was automatically supposed to be coming out on the game on other platforms at the same time, and then you turn it into, well, it's an exclusive because of some technicalities, that tells you right there how bad of a year it was for PlayStation. There's so much to unpack with this, and like I said, I don't want to spill all my tea for when I'm doing my thoughts later. I just think that when you have these type of situations and people don't pay attention to it, they're the ones that's going to be the most affected by it. By like, how did this happen? What happened? The shit is happening. This is in 2021 when they did this to Ben Studios. Naughty Dog is over here telling you right now that we are not good enough to sit there and to do two things, but y'all say that it is the best studio out there. That is bullshit. It's a great studio. Nobody is going to dispute that. It's one of the best. But I would actually say for PlayStation right now, Insomniac, because Insomniac is the one that's putting PlayStation on its back and holding it up. If Insomniac wasn't doing and pumping out the games that they have been pumping out, who else is out there making it happen? I mean, Ghost of Tsushima is a fantastic game, but that's going to take years before that can even come out. That might not come out until 2025, 2026. So what is holding PlayStation up right now, except for Insomniac delivering at least something worth damn while? Now, I'm not saying that Final Fantasy 16 wasn't worthwhile. I'm not going to say that. I got my problems with it, but I'm not going to say that the game wasn't quality, but but people didn't go and buy that game like that. God of War, that was last year. Nobody, it seems like PlayStation fans is not gravitating to Horizon at all. That franchise, I mean, what's going on with that? Gran Turismo, the sales, they keep going down. They're, you know what I'm saying? Even though it does good, but the sales keep going down every entry that it has. Explain this to me. So I don't
well,
even
it's
know.
because of that VR that the sales went up. Because everybody wanted to play that sucker on the VR, right? And get that free update to be able to play it. And once that dries up, then what?
Right. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, and you keep getting remasters and remakes and things like. And this was what was crazy, because I'm looking at like what MBG or whatever his name is. He was bringing up like, well, I would want to say PlayStation to bring. What do you guys think about if PlayStation brings a God of War 1 remake or remaster? I would be for that. And I'm just thinking like, okay, these are your voices for PlayStation now? Like, bro, do you not know of all the other classics that PlayStation has? They have a treasure trove of just absolutely fantastic games that they can remaster, remake. My first thoughts is like, if you want to make a PlayStation remake of something, Mark of the Cree would be perfect. Mark of the Cree was one of the best PlayStation games out there. 1 and 2 was fantastic. Why not mention that? You're talking about shit that people is already, you know what I'm saying? Like, Come on, man. Like, there's so many other potential, but these people just come out here and then I mean, they get exposed all the time for not knowing, PlayStation's history, but yet they get rewarded for talking the dumbest shit and then constantly just bashing Xbox for whatever reason when Xbox don't even have has anything to do in the equation. It just makes no sense to me. I don't know, and these are the people that's going to hurt PlayStation at the end of the day. Because if you're going to be complicit and deal with it, like this is what the PlayStation community was saying to us, Xbox gamers was like, if y'all going to be complicit, they ain't going to be an Xbox. And they were right. So we're telling you, PlayStation people out here, the same thing. If you're going to be complicit and you're going to accept anything that PlayStation gives you, then of course it's going to be over. It's like you said, Ham. You're gonna sit back and just get the popcorn and just sit back with a brew or whatever and just enjoy it. This is like a movie or like a TV show where you see the buildup of the empire or whatever getting strong and getting strength. And everybody knows it's about to happen. Nobody knows what the ending's going to be, but everybody knows what this sequence is about to become, where that empire is going to make that push and they're going to tear shit up. That's exactly what Xbox is ready to do. This whole we'll talk about the third party thing here in a second, but I just think that if you don't see what Xbox is trying to do, and you don't see what PlayStation is going through, like I said, Xbox when Sony stumbles, Xbox is going to be right there to get them. Hell, Sony is they fell on their ass this year. You don't think Xbox ain't seeing this? Man, this is crazy, man. I don't know. You got any more thoughts on this before we move
on? No, not really.
Okay.
I mean,
right.
well, like my whole excitement part on this is just literally the patience part.
Right.
Like, if you don't think that there's going to be a developer direct this year, you tripping. And I'm very excited to see what comes of the upcoming direct and just the announcements. I mean, there's plenty for Xbox to talk about this year as long as they, kept their nose down and kept working and didn't take no breaks, did what they're supposed to do. This year's going to be as big or possibly even bigger than this current year.
Oh yeah. That it's this PlayStation will have some games to come out, but then again, it's not first party. It's going to be mostly, third party stuff that they got exclusive. Like, but there's still some potentially good looking games that's going to be coming out. So we'll see. We'll see what Xbox is going to pump out. We know them. I don't think anybody can dispute what Game Pass has done now. Like, I don't think anybody can actually question Game Pass anymore. Game Pass has been phenomenal. And I don't think anybody can now bring up the narrative about Xbox not having any games, even though I think some people will still try to do that, even though, it doesn't make any sense. Though now the narrative has got to be that's going to get squashed is this whole quality thing, right? Like, like the definition of Xbox quality. Hellblade 2 is that quality. That's why I was trying to stress to everybody about that beforehand. I'm like, Starfield is going to be great. Starfield is going to be a monster, and it is. But Hellblade is going to be that game that makes that to make those narratives kind of just die and go and die on the vine. Because all Xbox has to do is come out with, I say, maybe 2 or 3 games like what Hellblade is, in the sense of like, the over the shoulder, whatever, and keep doing everything else that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Give us a smorgasbord of all different types of games. Don't just give us the same thing that's constantly pumped out on PlayStation. I don't ever want that for Xbox. That's just not right. But let me read this super chat right here, man. Oh man, Rob the Don, what's up, man? Appreciate you. He said, "Hey, K Mega, are you going to play Grand Blue versus Rising?" Yes, sir, I am. I'm going to buy that here at the end of the month, or I might try to get that. Might try to sneak into my budget drawer and try to get it here this weekend. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to get it. It looks great. Had a good time playing the first one. I slept on the first one. Actually, I bought it. I think like what 2 years after, because I wasn't trying to spend the money like for what they were asking at the beginning. I'm like, man, I want to play it. It looks great, but I don't know because I wasn't thinking that. I thought the online was going to be dead or whatever. And actually, when I jumped play, I was like, oh man, I slept on this. It was really good. I've had a couple of nights playing it on a fight night Sunday, and started having some really good matches. So yeah, no, I'm definitely going to cop that. If it's a fighter, I'm on it. So really do appreciate it. Sir X Man in the chat, he says, anyone talk about God of War DLC? Heard nothing. I've seen some people's show some game clips, talk about it. I know that the media came out and they said some positive things about like this there was a part that was in Ragnarok that needed to be talked about, but they kind of displayed that in this DLC. But it's more so, I think, just a mode than it is like like a story thing. So I don't know what that article was talking about, but again, it's just like the media will talk up anything. And speaking of that, I said I was going to talk about something else, but I got to just jump to this right now because this just blows my damn mind. Right here. Let me see. Let me hit this. Where is it at? Right here. Boom. This is wild. Ham, what? Multiplayer was more fun than any other multiplayer game.
Oh shit,
brother!
Push square.
Push square. Push square. Push square. You know what I'm saying? Push square. Let me read this. Let me read this right fast. It said, despite the cancellation, it seems the studio is still pretty proud of what it achieved with the multiplayer game. For example, technical designer Nathaniel Ferguson described it as a highlight of his career thus far. He said the project was very special to me. He wrote, so it goes, a sad day, but very bright horizons ahead for sure. The game designer, Carl Morley, said he had more fun playing this game than any other multiplayer title before and since. He said it's never easy to have a game canceled. Let me read this again one more time. And I'm going to let you cook, Ham. I'm going to just let you cook. I'm just going to just sit back and drink my water. This man said, I've had more fun playing this canceled game than any other multiplayer title before or since. I don't need to say anything else. What are your thoughts?
It's so fun that you couldn't figure out a way to make $1 off of it. Make that make sense. I just want to know, like, if something is that fun, so fun, it's better than Call of Duty and Fortnite, but we can't make any money like Call of Duty and Fortnite on it. I just find that insane. And for these articles to come out and say this, I've never seen so much booty rubbing after somebody does after somebody just completely fucks up and fails. Like, I don't understand this. If any other, I mean, if this was third party, if this was Xbox, if this was, I'm even going to say if this was Nintendo, it would be, what is happening with these studios? What's wrong? They're being, taught incorrectly or managing. Yeah, absolutely. Actually, the first thing I'm going to say is, where is what's wrong with the management conversations?
Right.
Where is that? Because I'm sitting over here looking at Twitter and stuff like that, and I see stuff from like people like Reforge saying this isn't Sony's fault. This is,
what? Are you serious?
Yeah, absolutely. This isn't Sony's fault. This is on the devs. The devs wanted to do this. The devs had the right to say what they wanted to say and do what they wanted to do, and it had nothing to do with Sony being at fault for it. I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, it's just like, wait a second, because when Xbox dropped Redfall, it was all Phil Spencer's fault.
Bro.
It was all Phil Spencer's fault. It wasn't oh, it's on the creativity of the developers. It was, oh no, they didn't want to even put this game out there, and Microsoft forced them to do it, yada yada yada. I mean, I guess you could make the case that Sony didn't force Naughty Dog to put it out. You could make that case, maybe, but at the same time, it's like, I don't remember the devs saying that this was the most fun game that they've ever played when they were talking about Redfall. They're saying that about this Last of Us game, yet nobody even gets to not play it, but see what it even looks like. You don't even get to see what it looks like. You just get a whisper say, I mean, hell, somebody could have just said, I don't know, maybe like Rand Althor could have came out and said, man, that platinum game over there, Scalebound, I tell you, man, that's the hottest game I've ever seen that didn't get a chance. That's cap. Rand wouldn't do that, and I don't see why these people are out here doing that.
No.
Like, if this was really as fun as you said it was, it would have made the streets in some sort of way, in my opinion. Like, whether it's a standalone live service game, or you just like to me, this would have been the perfect pivot for something like that. You already spent all that money, time, and whatnot into the game. Why not say, hey, we can't come out with this as a live service, but we can come out with this as like a game, just a multiplayer piece of the game, as we've said prior, as Sir X-Man has even said before, like this should be like, just like any other game. When you turn on the game, it has, single player mode, just like Call of Duty. You have single player mode and you have multiplayer mode. Call of Duty took it a step further and said, we have single player mode, multiplayer mode, and you have our war zone.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So like, in my opinion, they could have just made this a multiplayer piece of the game built off of that to bring the hype up and stuff like that, and make a live service out of it. Maybe the next time around or something, just some sort of life that needs to be respected with this game, to say, hey, we see that people want it. Here's something to play in the meantime. We're working on something else in the future to make more sense, but we wanted to give you guys a taste of what this was and just keep the hype alive. Instead, they completely killed the hype, but people still kissing ass and saying, oh, well, they did what they had to do, but what they had going was the best thing ever. And it's like, how do you know? How the fuck do you know?
Right. Bro.
How do you know that it was good?
You just... And to not have any type of... And that article did not have any type of, and I understand because it says, it's a PlayStation article, but even then, you would think that person would like, well, gamers would have loved to experience that. You have some kind of pushback, but nothing. It was like, it's okay. It's just a canceled game. Wow. That's what I'm doing. While you was over here talking about this, I'm over
Act
here
like it was only in 6 months of development. This thing has been in development for years.
2014. Well, meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? Phil Spencer is over here getting clobbered because of Scalebound, right? And he's got to say, and this is what he has to do, right? This is when the times were bad for Xbox and for Phil Spencer and all them. Look, and you know what? This is right here, right? Tells you who gives a damn about the gamer and who doesn't. While Phil Spencer sits there and says, Spencer urges Japanese fans to share feedback that might possibly be used in turn to improve the Xbox team overall. Unfortunately for Scalebound's hopefuls, this isn't bringing the game back. He's like, talk to us. Gaming community, talk to us. Because this game was the one that was supposed to be the game to try to bring the Japanese gamer over to buy an Xbox One. And then it got canceled. So because it did get hyped, and then look at the the headline, like, you know what I'm saying? Because you said Scalebound was killed by the hype. No. This was in 2017. We didn't get the true shit until 2019, 2020, 2021, when old dude from Platinum Games, Kamayo, came out and just being honest and was like, yeah, we messed it up. Everybody was blaming, like you said, Phil Spencer. And Phil Spencer says, look, I want feedback. What did Naughty Dog do to the community? We cut the comments off. We don't want to hear what you have to say.
Which is insane.
Yeah, bro. Tell me.
So they cut off the comments so you couldn't say nothing, but at the same time have the audacity to tell you that this was a great game. Bro, we just didn't want to give it to you. We
got other things we got to do. Sorry about the hype. Like the difference, ladies and gentlemen. This man is told he is the CEO. He has developed anything. He's there to try to get the game to work. The developers themselves didn't get questioned at that time. It was not on Platinum's. It was all Phil Spencer's fault, right? A man who had nothing. Only thing that he was a part of is to make sure that the game comes to Xbox, and wanted and didn't want to have this game to be delayed because Xbox One needed games to drop at that time, because PlayStation was dog walking Xbox at that time when it came to content. And so he's over here saying, give me feedback. I you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he's saying all the right things, talking about, you know, deep respect for Platinum Games and everything like that. The man got cooked for it. While, like you said, Naughty Dog told you, we got other things to do. You'll deal with it. We know that you love this stuff. And very few PlayStation fans has come out and showed any type of that type of stuff right here will not be tolerated. You're not getting my money for this, like that. Like, I remember how I felt when Scalebound got canceled. I'm like, Xbox, what the hell do you want me? What the hell are you doing? I'm over here saying that you guys are going to get back into the groove. It's this and that. And you took this game that I've been hyped for away. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Hell no, I wasn't pleased. I was pissed because I was so hyped for this game. And then, you know, from what the media at the time offered was that, like, oh, well, Phil Spencer just canceled it because it's whatever. See, if it wasn't for Rand telling me, since you brought up Rand, that's really, you know, ironic. Rand told me, Mega, that game ain't good, man. That game is bad. It's not ready to come out. That game is going to cancel. I'm like, Rand, saying that shit? Don't tell me that. No, it's no good. He said that game is no good. They're going to cancel it. And I got defiant as hell. Like, nah, man, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. 2 months later. No, it wasn't even a month. It wasn't even a month later. Because they got to see it. They got to see, because they displayed it, I guess, like maybe a private showing at E3 or something like that, or some event or whatever. And they got to see it. And everybody talked about how bad that game was. Like, that's when I made the point of saying, like, the dragon was doing the damn hammer dance. He said it was so glitchy, the shit it wasn't ready. And as much money that Phil and them poured into it, and for them not to have it ready to go, it is what it is. So, you know, shout out to Rand for sitting there, you know, preaching me the gospel, and I just didn't want to hear it. But there needs to be some PlayStation people out there, more than just people at Weapon Wheel, trying to preach the gospel. This shit is unacceptable. And the media themselves should be damn ashamed of themselves for putting this. I know that this is a quote. But to not have anything else said, right? Look at this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and let's read some of this. I want to read a couple of comments. I want to see what the fan base says, right? You know what I'm saying? I was really looking forward to this. It didn't have to be a live service. The original Factions isn't a live service, and that's still played today, almost a decade later. And then this person said, it would have been better to release it just as a multiplayer game rather than live service, or live service than not to release it at all. Just release it. Seems a shame that all the effort and resources go to waste. Look at these fans. It's like, man, just if it's all this, just bring it. You know what I'm saying? Look, I would love to. I personally, I would have loved to have seen what Naughty Dog had done with the project via beta or sorts. Right? That's another thing too. They could have brought out betas. They could have got feedback. But again, this entitlement that's at Naughty Dog right now is that I don't want to listen to what you say. I just want to do what I want to do. Now, the only thing that matters to me is what the higher ups may tell me what to do, but they seem like the higher ups kiss their ass as well. So, I don't know. I don't know, Ham. I don't know.
It don't make no sense.
Don't make no sense.
I don't think it's supposed to make any sense. It's just supposed to be some. Like I said, it's just a bunch of booty rubbing. It's just a bunch of, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get them next time. You did really good. I really like the what you had cooking, and it's just like, what are you talking about? like, what are you excited or proud of? Like, you literally got nothing, but you proud of this developer.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't make any sense to me, man. This just don't.
Hey, Don, I want to read this from Joanna Dark. What's going on with and everybody? Thank you to, you know what I'm saying, Sapo from, I seen Mitchie was in here, miss your girl, you know what I'm saying, Lady Foxfire, you know, Fahim,
Dick.
you know what I'm saying, Callie was up in here, you know what I'm saying, and of course,
Chris
Man,
Coleman.
Big Mo. Yeah, so let's call that. Yeah, thank you guys for coming up in here.
TJ.
Yeah, Spider-Man always disrespecting me. You know what I'm saying? Talk about my shoot. Hey, why you ain't talking about my Halo shooting right now, sucker? But it wasn't Halo. It was Starfield. He's always clowning me about how that clip I have of me shooting, and I was, you know, I didn't have my shooting attributes proper. Anyway, let's read this. So Joanna said, I think Naughty Dog is a victim of their own success, and maybe are scared that they cannot meet their expectations the media has set. And then he also says, on my chat, he said they got overhyped by the media, that anything they put out is not better than The Last of Us as a failure. And I can agree with that. I don't know. What's your thoughts about that, Ham?
I think that's a fair thought, but at the same time, I don't think it's the media's expectations that are the worry here. Because the media is literally just saying it's all good either way. And that to me is insane.
That's the part that's
because if the media had these expectations, then we'd be hearing about the media's frustrations right now. But the media aren't frustrated. They're actually like, oh, so you're going to do this instead? Oh, that's a good idea. Nah, that's not how it's supposed to work, man. I think more or less it's more or less some of the fans' expectations.
Yeah.
I personally think that Naughty Dog isn't nervous about the media. They're nervous about the fans. You seen where they closed the comment section off.
Right.
When you're dealing with the media, the comment section is nothing.
No.
The media will just make a whole article and have their own comment section under it, right? But as for the fans, how do you complain? How do you get in touch with, or, you know, make sure that your thoughts are funneled in the right direction? Naughty Dog straight up cut the line right at their comment section and said, hey, you can't talk to us.
Right.
You want to retweet it, sure, we're not going to pay attention to that. But as for you speaking directly to us, you can get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Right.
That
shit's straight.
Nah, I don't think the media really gives a damn either way. They're still willing to say Naughty Dog is the top dog.
Yeah.
They're literally telling us, no biggie. We see what you want to do. Go on ahead and do what you want to do. But would they give a third party game that same level. Oh, you messed up. Maybe next time. No, no. Would they do that? Would they keep that same energy if the coalition came out and said, "We see Gears
Facts.
can't
Get
do the
'em.
multiplayer for that right now, but here is a story." Do you think that they'd say, "Oh, well, they're better at the story than they are at the multiplayer," which Gears is clearly. Everybody knows Gears for that for that story, and the multiplayer is hot too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
The multiplayer is extremely hot, extremely popular. But when you talk to most Gears heads, or not Gears heads, but just like your casual people, it's all about the story when it comes to Gears, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go on ahead and put the coalition up to the same fire and see if they don't get burned like Naughty Dog did. No, they're cooking the coalition if they do something wrong or mess up or flat out don't have a multiplayer. I couldn't imagine any Xbox game coming out and saying, "Oh, we don't have any multiplayer at all." As a matter of fact, Xbox did come out with a game not that long ago with plenty of people being able to play multiplayer and all this stuff called Grounded with 13 people.
Facts.
13 or 20 or I don't know. It's a small amount of people.
Yeah, 13 people. 13 people.
So you're telling me that y'all got 400 and y'all can't figure it out?
400 plus, and then you add contractors.
And you over here talking about Bend Studio being Naughty Dog North?
Yeah, and I don't know how many is in Bend North, but so you're adding up. I mean, I'm sure there's 100 plus there at Bend Studio. So I mean, you're looking at 500 plus developers, and you can't. Man, I don't know. I can't call this one. I can't call this one.
People are gonna kiss. People are gonna kiss some of these people's ass until they buried. Like, yeah. I don't know what to tell them. Go on ahead, K-Maker.
Well, yeah, no. It just but these things like this, like. I'm going to read this because I haven't read it all, but I'm just like, I really like Naughty Dog's Uncharted series and the Crash Bandicoot games as well. However, I cannot stand the multiplayer parts of Uncharted at all, and they're pretty much ruined my earlier trophy hunting escapades, as those online trophies were out of my grasp, so I could not play something I was not enjoying just for the 100% completion. This game would have been awesome for those that enjoy The Last of Us, and it's a shame it's been canceled. Okay, but see, this is the thing though. I get that you might not like online, but what about the people who did love it? It was a cult success. Like, there were people that loved it so much. Even, and I know there was other people out there that jumped on board because it's a PlayStation game, and a lot of those stands didn't even play it or even knew about it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was it just had a little small base, but it was still a quality multiplayer. And even though, like, I thought the dancing and stuff was goofy in the Uncharted multiplayers, but it still felt good. It played well. I don't know how much you played of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, but I thought it
zero.
played. Oh yeah, I play. It was fun. It was really fun. It just, it was goofy with doing the dancing and shit like that, but seeing Nathan Drake dance, or other people that she was playing with was dancing and stuff, but it played well. So it's not like these companies can't make these games. It's just that the priorities is changed so much. And when you tell somebody, when you get some, and that's the thing too, that's the last part on this, and I'll read the super chat from Joanna, but the one thing that bothers me overall is that when something is canceled and you're angry about it, you want to silence people who are angry and want to make an upliftment, like everything should be kumbaya over here because console sales and we're number one, and no, when shit is bad and when shit is bad, shit is bad. Just say it. Just let people be mad. Let people vent. And you don't want people to vent. Sony don't want you to vent. The community don't want you to vent. The content creators don't want you to vent. And the ones that do, they get, they have people attack them. They have their own attack them. I mean, hell, like when the first week that we've heard this news, they were having like a little baby civil war themselves of going up. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a multiplayer game. What the hell? Like you act like, I don't know. It blows my mind. It blows my mind for all the ass kissing, like you said. It really blows my mind. Let me read this from Joanna Dark here. He said, we'd, because somebody else asked a question. Saplo, I have to go ask, I'll answer that. He said, we should also blame Sony. I think their own internal metrics of everything, of anything then a 90 meta is unrealistic for a service game. So Sony also shares blame. But you know, Joanna, the media would still find a way to give it a 90. They gave Spider-Man, a buggy ass mess, a 90. A 90. They were perfect scores for a game. And I know people will say, well, they were perfect scores for Redfall. You know why they did that? Because so many people went crazy, and that's why I hate the whole metric system as it is, because there's no penalty for nothing. There should never be a game that's 10 unless it is a game of the generation. A game that is of all games. Like, okay, if you want to say Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the best games of this generation, I can see a couple of 10s. Or Zelda, I can see a couple of 10s there. If that's what you know what I'm saying, that's cool. But not every game that comes out needs to have a 10. Period. And I guarantee you, yes, they do have an unrealistic type of way about them when it comes to this Metacritic score shit, because it means everything to them. But the media would assist them. I guarantee it. They would find a reason to give him a 90. They did it with Spider-Man. Ham, do you agree with that, or you got a different thought on that? You're muted.
I said, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I was reading what Joanna Dark said. He said, we should also blame Sony. He said, I think that their own internal metrics of anything then a 90 meta is unrealistic for a service game. So Sony also shares the blame. And my pushback on that was that the media would still find a way to give the multiplayer a 90 meta to keep that standard. Now, you know what I'm saying? Because they gave Spider-Man a 90, and do we really think that Spider-Man, the way that it was launched, deserved to get a 90 plus rating?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, we were just talking about, like, and that's why I was saying what I was saying earlier with the media isn't the problem, like, or the media is the problem. The fans are the ones that are not the problem, but are being dealt a bad hand because they don't even get a chance to speak on the game or even see the game. They just have to assume whatever the media tells them, and the media's kissing the ass. So what are the fans are going to do? They're going to kiss ass as well. If the media is leading them down that line. So I kind of agree with you a little bit, K Mega, with that, because it's just like, no matter what, they're going to kiss ass for this game to come out. Right. But maybe something inside of Sony, I kind of got to give some kudos to Miss Joanna Dark as well. So maybe something inside of Sony said, this ain't quite good enough. And in my opinion, I believe that wholeheartedly more than this was a fun or good game at all.
Right.
Because it's just like, if you're going to sit here and tell me that this game ain't good enough to launch, then to me, you're telling me it's not fun enough to play.
Thank you. That's what. Why did you cancel it? You've been working on this game for damn near a decade. And you canceled it, and your excuse was, we can't do both things at the same time. Okay. This is why
they said that they'd have to make the whole studio into live service. And I'm sitting over here like,
what?
If this game is that good, though, you would hire more people to work on it while you work on something else, right?
Right.
What's a natural thing that people do as their company's growing, even before they see profits? Sometimes, as a basic business, you're like, hey, holiday season's coming. We haven't made any bread yet from the holiday season, but if I'm sitting here looking at, numbers and how my competition does and all of this stuff, it's telling me that I need to hire more people to be ready for this season. Yeah, it's going to cost me more money, but in the end, I'm going to make more money because what we have is quality. What they're telling us from the jump is what we have is okay. It's not quality enough to sustain. So we're not even going to put any money in it to keep supporting it because it's not good enough. Right. So you cannot then tell me a day or two later that this game was the best thing since sliced bread, but we couldn't make $1 off of it. That doesn't correlate.
No, it doesn't.
That doesn't correlate.
It doesn't. And that's what I'm saying. Like for the company to, or I mean for Push Square or any, because this isn't the only one that's come out here and tried to soften the blow for this news. But for not to have the pushback of like, well, what about the fans? What about, or at least of like the main thing to me is the comments, cutting the comments off, not letting the fans vent to you, to tell you your disgust, to make Sony be aware of, hey, look, maybe we need to, get back to the drawing board. Right now, we can't do this. We got other things that we want to do, but we could come back and we can reevaluate and try to bring this at a later date, and then of course, like I said, like I was saying earlier about like, you letting the studios have the creative freedom. Why is it that you can't, why like other studios can't come and help assist? Right. And so this comes to ask us a question about the Bungie situation. Was Bungie supposed to come out and maybe assist and maybe Jim Ryan was looking at, well, y'all guys know online games. Maybe, just maybe, you guys can help be a part of Naughty Dog and then work on the live service and then on other stuff as well when you got time. But let's kick this off the ground. And now this is just kind of ran past my mind. Bungie said that the game was trash. Shut it down. So which one is it? It's the best thing ever, or was it what Bungie said is like, man, you need to shut this shit down. This thing ain't it. I don't know. I don't know. But let me read this question from Sapo. He said, they said, why are they praising a game that's never coming? That makes no sense. A complete waste of time, both writing and reading. It's not worth the paper it was written on. But it's not. But this is what they do. And it just makes no damn sense at all. Another thing that doesn't make sense before we get on to another topic, I just want to, I let Ham hear this. I want you guys to hear this. This blew my damn mind. And this goes to the media again. And I don't have a problem with any media personality, right? Like I'm not a fan of some of the things that Jeff Keighley does with his VGAs, especially with the nominations, things like that. But I don't have a problem with a man, Colin Moore, anybody at IG, any of these people, right? Like I don't have even if some of these people have blocked me or whatever, I don't have a problem with them personally or anything like that. I don't take it that serious. But this is the thing that bothers me here. I want you guys to listen to this. Hear this right fast.
But PS Plus can certainly have, I think, that out of the gate benefit to a game, even more so than Game Pass, where it's like, yeah, part of Game Pass, great. This is why Game Pass is great. With PS Plus, it feels like if it pops off on there, it's like, oh, that's because this is a great game. I know it's like a small difference, but PS Plus can certainly have, I think, that out of the gate benefit to a game, even more so than Game Pass, where it's like, yeah, part of Game Pass, great. This is why Game Pass is great. With PS Plus, it feels like if it pops off on there, it's like, oh, that's because this is a great game. I know it's like a small difference. And
now, he caught himself. That's why he kind of did this. Like, yeah, I kind of said that out of pocket. Damn, what the hell? Now we're going to sit here and get into the quality conversation of, because, you know, Sea of Stars, fantastic that it's gotten over 4 million players. Here it's a fantastic game. I do want to get a chance to try to play it at some point. But instead of just praising that the game, that services itself is just great for the community and great for games like this to get exposure, there had to be some kind of difference between Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. Like the quality, you could see the quality here at Play. What the hell was that, Ham? What was that?
That was pure, straight from straight out of Bolivia. That was some that was some straight up bullshit.
Wow.
Like, bro, get out of here. Like I really don't understand this whole and see when people like me come out and say Xbox tax, this is the fuck what I be talking about.
Man.
Because we're gonna sit here. We already know Xbox puts their games day and date on the Game Pass. High quality games. I don't know how many times they've came out and said, hey, we have this game that, you know, that was nominated for Game of the Year. This game that was nominated. This game that, you know, maybe even one Game of the Year. Like It Takes Two and shit like that, right?
Right.
EA Play great games. You're gonna tell me that it didn't feel like quality because it hit Game Pass? Like, what does that even mean?
Bro.
Like, hold on a second. We already know, like people are happily paying for Game Pass right now, and it's more expensive than the PlayStation Plus Premium.
Right.
So the more expensive thing that's providing more high dollar games is not doesn't feel quality because of exactly what he just said. It has the Xbox name written on it. That if you're gonna sit there and tell me that there's not an Xbox tax, but then say something like this, you're not making any sense.
Bro, yeah, no, and Joanna, like, yeah, he knew that the wording was different. He's like, look at what happened with Tunic. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, that wasn't the one he said. He said no. He said I think his wording is weird, but what he meant is when great games like Sea of Stars come to Game Pass, the media doesn't hype it like they would PlayStation. But see, you see how you worded that? That would have been fine, right? Like, okay, I get that. But he said the quality word, which is the most this thing that bothers me. And I'm gonna tell you another thing about it. Like, okay, so you telling me that Liza P isn't quality?
Words matter.
Yeah, words matter. Like you know, like he could have corrected himself, like, but he didn't. He just he did the twitchy with the face, like, damn, I said that wrong. But he kept it moving. Instead of him saying, like, what I'm trying to say is what you said, Joanna. Like, because if you know, if I get tangled up on something and I'm trying to explain it and it doesn't come up, I'm still going to try to make sure that I said it the right way so people can understand. Or people in the chat at least say, hey man, what do you mean by that, Mega? Like that right there was just one of those things where I think that the media is caught up in this echo chamber of always hearing about PlayStation's quality, PlayStation's this, PlayStation's successes, PlayStation this, that they're too afraid to say anything overly impactful. Hold on for a second. I got somebody at my door. Hold on. Go ahead and see what you guys think.
Oh, that was random shit. No, man, but I mean, it's just, to me, it's clear as day. He's literally saying that, oh man, the quality doesn't quite seem together over here, or at least to the fans. And it's just like, if you're gonna keep saying stuff like that, you're making it seem like reality when it's clearly not. I don't know. I don't buy any of this stuff that comes out and is said. It's ridiculous. It just seems silly. Like, why the hell would somebody even say something like this with a straight and you see how he kind of like backed off of it a little bit because he was like, oh shit, I said this, I'm kind of cooked now. After saying that, you already know somebody's gonna clip that. Hell, I'm gonna clip that shit. I'm gonna clip that shit right after this motherfucking show, and I'm gonna put it on Twitter and say, this is the way people be talking. This is the way people be talking. Yet they want
somebody was knocking on the door like it was the police. I was like, "What the hell is that? Wait a minute!" So I had to get up and see
but that's not saying like people be talking like, "Oh, we don't see where you're seeing this tax, or you're thinking of this wrongly, or hearing it wrong." I ain't hearing shit wrong. I ain't hearing nothing that you're saying wrong. I'm hearing exactly what you're saying. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, why isn't anybody talking about the quality of games on PlayStation Plus Premium? What, y'all raised the prices and then literally gave me a game that shut down their studios. But you want to tell me about quality games in a service? You raised the prices and then gave me what was that game? Saints Row. You raised the prices and gave me Saints Row, and you're gonna tell me that, oh man, it came out on PlayStation, it must be quality.
Right. Yeah.
Nah, man, make it all add up.
Right. It didn't add up. Like, I just don't understand how you can say that this was a situation that put. I just read something that just threw me off. So a New York jury has found Jonathan Majors guilty of assault in 3rd degree and guilty of harassment. What the hell? Are you
running?
kidding? From running? From running?
He's running for his life.
He's running from his life, and he got found guilty because of a phone call? Because of some text messages or whatever, of something that wasn't related to the situation that he was. Okay. Anyway, that's a whole nother can of worms for a whole nother day. Anyway, all right. That just threw me off. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I don't know. I don't care how you call it, Xbox tax, whatever that you want to call it, whatever the case may be or whatever. But the fact of it is that it's there. The media has definitely got this. That's what I'm saying. Like they talk about this stuff too much that looks at Xbox in this like, ew, yeah, I want to like you, but I can't like you like that. Like, we can just be friends type of attitude, right? But I love PlayStation. Like, they don't give like
same that, game drop.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, comparable to both of the services, hell, their own community tells you that they feel the Game Pass is better because of the fact that when they heard the rumors that Xbox could be a third party and that they might get a chance to get Game Pass, which saying, what did the community say? They were all for it. Oh yeah, bring those Xbox game over here. It's over. Yeah, I'll get it. But yet, come on, man. Even Sony knows that they would lose. That if Game Pass would ever to come to PlayStation, PS Plus would be dead. Finito curtains. So this whole quality garbage, it just doesn't make sense. But he even spoke. I'm not, like I said, I don't have a problem with these, with trying to bash the man or anything. But it is apparent. Last point before we move on something else is
I'm gonna go on ahead and say it. That was some sucker shit.
It was some fuck shit. It was, no doubt. Last point to this is that all you got to do, and I would try to look it up. I was trying to look it up right fast, but I got caught up with that, and then I'm still pissed off about the Jonathan Major stuff. But Ryan McCaffrey, I think, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
From Ryan McCaffrey.
Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan. the whole situation of the soft blow stuff with the whole Last of Us cancellation of the multiplayer was like, well, this was supposed to be expected. This is that. And then you looked at the contrast of how he acted towards Xbox when it came to Scalebound, or when it came to Crackdown 3, or when it came to anything that he didn't like. Now, maybe it's because he feels more he's more probably friendly to talk to Phil Spencer and everybody else at Xbox than he does somewhere else. But why you don't have that same energy? And this is the thing that bothers me overall with the whole situation. Like, they just, I don't know, man. It just blows my damn mind. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that right now with the whole tax situation. I mean, not tax, but the terms of service. That was kind of like what our main topic is going to be for today. And man, okay, so people are trying to say it's debunked. It's in the terms of service, so it's not something that's debunked. It's the thing that it's when you talk about it, it just comes off wrong. And then here comes the people that makes excuses. Well, it's in Xbox's terms of service. We're talking about what PlayStation people have been saying. And I'm gonna go ahead and try to find that as well so I can read some of it to you. But it clearly states in there about, like, yeah, you using content, using physical content or digital content. If you try to sell it, then you can be penalized for it. You're not supposed to sell it. Now, again, it's very odd, and has anybody enforced it? Don't think so. Doesn't seem like anybody's been enforced it. But out of Xbox or PlayStation, who would you think would enforce it? Would enforce that type of term? Would it be Xbox or would it be PlayStation? I'm gonna tell you right now, it'd be PlayStation to do it more than Xbox. Xbox can't afford to have that type of PR. PlayStation, we already seeing they could do. They got all these legal situations going on right now this year, and people are still treating them like nothing has happened. They're getting sued. They're going to court. they raising prices. They're doing all this crazy shit, canceling games, studios shut down, people leaving, everything, and people saying it's absolutely fine. So when you look at the terms of service, like, so I want to hear your thoughts about that, but I also want to throw a twist to this, because I think the bottom line, I think what people aren't paying attention to is what's more egregious is that I think instead of the FTC and the CMA worrying about, some of the shit that they worry about, how about we start getting a good explanation about what our purchases are? Because right now, what we're getting, it says when you buy something, it says purchase. But when they shut stuff down, it doesn't matter if you have a hard copy disc or whatever, the way that games are made now, if they shut those servers down, that hard disk is useless. So when you buy something, is it more of a lease? Because it doesn't seem like you really truly own it these days. And I think that those things needs to be changed. I think that the labeling of saying you purchase something, because when you purchase something, you own it. It's theirs. It's yours forever. It's always going to work. And that's not what's happening right now. You just, case in point, look at The Crew. The Crew's going to get shut down. I bought The Crew on PC and I bought it on Xbox. But that shit it's done. Here in 2024, in the middle part of 2024, it's over with. It's useless to me. So I don't know your thoughts on this, Ham. Like, the whole, does it worry you about the terms of service that we've seen posted? And then the second question is about the whole purchasing thing. Like, what do we need a new something to where it can say, well, we're not really purchasing, we're leasing? What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're already like with those that type of wording, in my opinion, is already telling you that you don't really have the rights to anything that you got, especially if you're telling me that then again I can't sell this. Just a generation ago, they made a whole they made a whole skit of how to share your games, right? And you just hand it over to somebody, right? Well, what's the difference between sharing it and selling it? You know, right?
Right.
Because like if somebody's like, yo, let me borrow that for a little bit, and then they end up keeping it. And then you're like, yo, you kept my shit. Give me a little something for it. And then they buy you a game, right? It's kind of a trade in some sort of way. You could look at that as some sort of silly type of sale or something or whatnot. But at the end of the day, you're doing what you want to do with your property, right? And I just think it's kind of funny that how people said, you know, the Xbox One is so bad because of this. Now it's coming back around. And the people that were clowning on Xbox are now supporting this decision of not being able to sell said things or whatnot. It's even more interesting that some people are saying, well, but Xbox is doing it.
Right.
I thought you were supposed to be the one to wait a second. I thought you were supposed to be the one to lead the charge. Now you're saying that Sony's just following Xbox? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that fine all of a sudden now? Because it wasn't fine last generation. Last generation, you guys put your foot down, and I feel like that was rightfully so.
Right.
You know, you should be able to do whatever you want with your game, especially if it's in physical form. If it's in digital form, I can kind of understand not being able to sell something digitally to somebody else, because then it's like, how'd you get this off of that account and then onto this other one? That seems a little suspicious, right?
Right. Very.
But as for like what are you doing with that with that statement? Because I don't see GameStop in the, you know, IE parentheses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay to do it here, just not person to person. So like it just like that whole thing doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, you're starting to see less and less of these games even be available for purchase physically. When you go to a GameStop now and you look in the new corner of these games for Series X and what was it? And the PS5, even Switch, you don't see all the games that they have available. You see a few that a few that the store was willing to maintain due to recency. You don't see a crazy stock of games. Even if you go to a Best Buy, you're not going to see every single game for PS5 that's physical, that's available there. So I feel like maybe you may see an even further cutback in physical game releases, and that they're putting this here more or less as a future rule for digital games in general, because I feel like they're preparing themselves to go all digital. Yeah. I feel like this type of language is a preparation.
Yes.
And keep in mind this, and shout out to RGT, because he said this on his channel when he was talking about this, because he's one of the people that broke this big news about this whole thing.
Yeah.
And he was talking about and he was talking about how this news isn't old, this is revised.
Right. Yeah.
So this has been put into the, you know, the EULA and all that type of shit.
Right.
When you go to sign over, you know, your rights and whatnot and say, hey, I'm willing to have this. Right. So if something like that's being revised, it's being revised for a future. It's not being revised to be retroactive. It's being revised so in the future, when you go to do something, you can't. and they got the paperwork to support it.
Right.
So I'm really wondering how this is all going to unfold in the future with games, or maybe there will be a different way to have physical games. That's something that no one's really been talking about at all.
Right.
Maybe maybe physical games will stay alive in some sort, but it won't be via disc anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's I mean, I doubt it, but that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, you remember, like,
these disc drives cost how much to put into a console? Maybe they want to be like, all right, screw it, we're going to like a US, like remember Microsoft, I believe, tried to do that at one point, where they're putting games on a USB.
Mm-hmm.
You just plug in the USB and you can play the game.
Yeah.
Maybe that might become the new disc, is where you just, I mean, because every computer has a USB port on it.
Right.
You just plug in the USB and that's your physical game. Now you unplug it, put it back in the case.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing to me that is also interesting, is because Nintendo tried to dabbled with it, in their own little weird way, where they did the little tiny disc for the GameCube, and a lot of people didn't like it, and that was one of the reasons why it kind of it didn't sell very well, is because a lot of people just was turned off by, like, man, come on, why do you got to do something different? Like, these companies are always going to try to find a way to get over in one way, shape, or form. And I agree, like, there's got to be some kind of pushback somewhere. And that's why I'm making the point about there has to be different wording when it comes to what is a purchase and what isn't. Because we no longer purchase this stuff. Like, I mean, just case in point, look at the stuff that just happened with the people with Discovery Plus on PlayStation. You may have bought a whole season of whatever, of Mythbusters or whatever, and that's gone. You don't have that. But when you paid your money, your hard-earned money to get it, what did it say when you get your email, or when it pops up there, purchase confirmed, or thank you for your purchase? That wording right there means I own that property. You should not take it away from me. But they did. And then when they go back and they say, well, you should have read the, TOS. Fuck the TOS. You should have just told me right here that this is an opportunity. This is a possibility that I might not can keep this. So I'm leasing this indefinitely. So which tells me, oh, I'm taking a chance. But see, that's why I'm saying, like, the FTC, the CMA, these regulators need to be getting a focus on that, because it's now getting into the point to where, like you said, gaming is gaming is at this point. They put this in here for a reason. Yes, I get it. The stands out there. Well, this is on Xbox and this was from 2013. This was debunked by Yoshida. PlayStation had, first off, that was Yoshida. PlayStation was different then. They were over here all about the hard copies. They were all about GameStop. And then all of a sudden, when they decided to be more about what Xbox was doing, when they found out that more people cared about digital, they didn't give two shits about GameStop. And Yoshida got demoted. So what does that tell you? So, I mean, people need to just pay attention to these things, because, I mean, look, Xbox is not immune to it either, but it'd be too much of a PR hit for Xbox to try to implement some shit like that at this point in time. They'll just let the process work how it works, because more and more gaming, it was in 2013, I think it was what? 20% of people buying digital? 2020, it was like 20%, it was less than 25%. Now you look at 2023, it's 84% who buy digital over hard copy. So you could be absolutely right that this situation is gonna change to where this is restructured for something else. And we're in weird times. And it also makes and listen, while people are still trying, there's still people out here that tells you that services they don't matter and things like that. This brings me to be more accepting to game services, because at least I don't have to be obligated on spending $70, $80 because now PlayStation's going to want to hit you over the head for 70. They're talking about maybe $80 for a game. And then you claiming thinking that you own that shit. But if it doesn't work out, if it goes away, then they could just take it away from you because that's in the terms of service. So why do I need to sit here and pay $70, $80 of my hard-earned money when I could just go ahead and give me just go ahead and pay monthly on a game service, put that shit day and day, I'm good. If you don't, okay, I'll find something. I'm not going to keep wasting my money if you're going to take things away from me that you're saying that I own when I actually don't. I don't know. It's crazy, man. It's a really crazy situation. Let me read some of these chats. Chris Coleman says no PlayStation players wanted Game Pass. It was Xbox players wanted it, so they truly have no reason to own an Xbox. PlayStation said if Xbox is third party, then they can sell us their games and keep their Game Pass off PlayStation. Let's keep it 100 with the whole situation. PlayStation knows, and that's why I knew that it was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. PlayStation knows if Game Pass ever came onto that console, it was over. It was over. Xbox would kill PlayStation within. PlayStation Plus would be done. Because you think that all those extra games and then those games day and date, compared to what PlayStation Plus was offering, PlayStation would have to try to match to maintain to keep people from purchasing Xbox. Because also what you ain't thinking is that when you plug into Game Pass, you're into Xbox ecosystem. So all that shit does is help out Xbox. You know what I'm saying, down the road, because there's more people that's going to be on their ecosystem than it is on PlayStation until like PlayStation has their single player game or whatever game that individual wants. But if you're telling me for right now, looking at this situation, and Xbox said, okay, fuck it, and let's just do it. Let's just put Game Pass on PlayStation, and Call of Duty is on Game Pass day one. Where do you think PlayStation fans are going? Stop being ridiculous. That shit don't make any sense. Doesn't. Come on, man. What the hell were you talking about? This man said PlayStation gamers don't want that. That's Xbox gamers. Man, PlayStation knows exactly what the hell that they don't want that. They don't want that. They don't want that work. That's why we knew it would never happen. Let me read the super chat. My little thing is messed up. I'm gonna have to reset it. It said, Jax82, appreciate it, man. He said, Fight, I think you might be saying Fire TV.
No, Fight.
Fright. Oh, Fight. Okay,
It's
I've never heard
Fight.
of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Fight. Okay, Fight TV has a 30-day, has 30 rental on a PPV, and some are lifetime where you own it. See, those type of things mean something. Like even with the whole situation with in regards in the PC gaming, like I'm starting to understand now, like why GOG is so important. Like, you know what I'm saying, GOG, because you keep those games. Like Steam, I've bought games and those servers is shut down and those games don't even work anymore. Hell, you see what happens with like games that you from a Kickstarter. I mean, just a case in point, this last game that was a disaster. The Last of Us. I forget what the name of the game is, but it was a horror game, and it looked like The Division, and The Day After, I think that's what it's called. Look at what that happens. We're in a weird time in gaming where we as consumers have to, when people try to buck the trend and say, oh, services this, services that, you don't own the games. Hell, you don't. And in them terms of services on Xbox too. So Xbox gamers think the same way. But it's like I said, who would be more likely to do it? It's going to be Sony, because the media is going to work for the machine. Xbox's PR will be destroyed. They would have no way to come out of that. So you don't see it coming from Xbox unless Xbox become the dominant choice. Then maybe things will change. But PlayStation would be more likely to do some crazy shit like that, just because. And the media would find a way to sit there and to appease them. because Sony would make sure that they would.
Yeah, and a lot of these games, I mean, as you were saying, K, a lot of these games are services anyways. So it's just like, why do you want a physical copy, or why would you want a physical copy of a game where, as you said at the beginning of this conversation, the servers go down, your disc is nothing now. Your disc is literally nothing now. So when we talk about room and willingness for people to be on subscription services, tell me what would Call of Duty be if they got rid of the online on it? How about Fortnite? Fortnite would literally be a game that nobody wanted to ever play again if that happened. I mean, all these games that are in the top of Steam charts would die, except for maybe Cyberpunk and like Baldur's Gate. And Starfield would be right back up there on the top 5.
That's right, all over again.
So so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, what are we even talking about here? I understand some people's sentiment to like for games like Hogwarts or like I said, like Starfield and stuff like that being physical and having those remain still available. But as for subscription services, this time in our history in gaming, subscription services make more sense than they ever have.
Ever have.
They ever have. Because it's just like for instance, I want to see these sports games on a subscription service. Day one. Because they have no business to me to come out with a game every year and then expect me to want to go out and purchase this. Like, that's where WWE 2023 or 2024 or whatever lost me. Because I was like, I got 2022 and I loved that game. But here it is a year later and you're asking me to do it again?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd rather just pay for a subscription service, $10, $15 a month. Have that game, maybe, the football game, maybe 2K, all wrapped up in there and just play it that way. And give you, 15 whatever a month instead of messing around and buying 23 and then 24 and then 25 and then 26. And it's just like, no, I don't want to do that, because you know what? Those games are the exact same pretty much. It might be like the last year version might be missing out on this super light feature that's added to this. Maybe
I'm not gonna co-sign all that, but keep going. But yeah.
Well, the thing is like,
I get what you're saying.
To me, yeah. To me, that doesn't always correlate to me needing to spend a whole $70 more.
I know. I'm understanding
that for the next year.
Right. No, I get what you're saying on that. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I'm really saying is like, Madden 2023 may not be as good as Madden 2024, but is it a $70 upgrade?
But see, the fan base is going to dictate that, and that's always going to be my pushback on that. Like, is the fact of it is because the top 5 selling games are.
Hey, K Mega. Yeah. I'm not trying to say, hey, you can't buy this game flat out. This is only on subscription service. I'm saying for a person like me that doesn't exactly understand that value,
right?
I want a different way to be able to enter that ring.
That's why
because K Mega
day one
as we just got done talking about, take the online off of Madden, 2K, FIFA, and you got like a third of the game. You have like a third of the game now. because that's where they focus. This isn't the early 2000s where there was so much to do by yourself and so little to do in online. Now there's so much to do online and so little to do by yourself. That's all I gotta say.
No, I feel you on that. Because my only pushback was the fact of just this game doesn't have as many features as others, because that kind of diminishes how hard the devs work on these annual games. I mean,
I'm questioning how hard they work at all.
Oh no, they put
all
in
the
work.
time.
They put in the work.
Sure, but there's a lot of Control C, Control V going on, and then after a while they're like, all right, we got to make some changes for this to make sense.
I think what now see, this is the thing that I think a lot of people miss out on. And I know that you do play sports games, so you know what I'm saying. So you can feel me on this one. What hurt and gave that perception was the 360, PlayStation 3, Wii gen.
100%.
Because they worked on a new engine, but they gutted those games. They gutted them from everything that we knew from the PlayStation 100%. 2, the OG Xbox, and
I stayed on the OG Xbox after the 360 came out because it was better.
Oh yeah, because those Maddens and NBA Live, NBA Live was really good, and the 2Ks was really good, but primarily talking about Madden. Madden was absolutely gutted.
They put a new engine, football games.
And NCAA football games were really good. They increased, but Madden was the one that gave this stigma, and that's just EA being EA and doing some slimy bullshit. And what's so sad is that it's stayed, that stench has stayed with every sports game now because of what EA did with Madden. Because that whole generation with Madden was absolutely garbage. Madden 23 was the actual Madden that I'm like, finally, you're doing so, because that was going to be my last Madden that I was going to buy. I said if 23 wasn't good, then I'm not buying another Madden ever again. I went the whole generation buying Madden, and it is garbage. I'm going back to 2K football and to all pro football and to college and playing the older Maddens on like you said, the OG Xbox or the PlayStation 2. I said, because these Maddens are so goddamn bad. So that stigma, it sucks that stigma is still there, because Madden has
almost been 20 years of the stigma too. Since 2005, this has been they've been playing catch up since 2005.
Yeah. And so that's the thing to me, is where the issue is that they got a lot of work to do with in regards to college, right? And I got a lot of faith that college football is going to be the premier football game for EA.
It'll be perfect timing too, because they opening up that 12-team playoff.
Right. And also, I think it's the perfect time, because of the perfect time to bring college basketball in now. So
I don't know about that.
Yeah. The NIL has changed everything. I think
you're right. You're right. The NIL has changed everything, but the one thing the NIL hasn't done yet is make college basketball interesting outside of March Madness.
But March Madness is still one of the most premier sporting events.
It is, but there's a lot of months of games before March Madness.
But see, this is also would help boost, because I think that's another thing. What hurts college basketball is because kids don't know who's playing anymore. That's why there's a lack of interest. Like, I can remember when we were playing, like, one of my favorite teams back in the 90s was the Maryland Terrapins. With Hip and Abuki and all that, man, Joe Smith, that team was fire. I was like, man, OU is I'm playing with my Sooners, but man, my second squad right here is these Maryland Terrapins. They are beasts. And then of course, you had the homies playing with Carolina, playing with Duke, but we knew those players' names, we knew their identities. Now you know what I'm saying, kids ain't had a college basketball game since like 2008 or something like that. So 2009. And these kids don't know these kids' names. Now with the NIL, they can have the name on the jersey without having to do the shit that we used to do with the memory cards on the PlayStation and all that other stuff, right? Or sitting there with a magazine. I don't know if you ever did this, Ham, but me and the homies used to get one of the college magazines and individually put the player's name on every team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Every team. It would take us 2 or 3 days.
Hours.
Oh yeah. Hours. 2 or 3 took us 2 or 3 days. But we did it, and it just made the game even 10 times better.
Eventually, I just did my own team and just generated the rest.
Man, I just went ahead and started paying somebody like $20 to go ahead and just put that shit on a memory card and give it to me, because I'm like, I'm not, man. I want to. There's other things I got to do. I'm not gonna sit here all damn day and night sitting here putting in these damn players' names. I'm just gonna pay this dude $20, $25. You know what I'm saying? And then of course sometimes, I had a dude that was doing it for a long time, and then he got arrested and went to jail. So I tried to be up with somebody else, and he didn't get arrested for that. He was doing some other stupid shit. But there was the other guy, and he was shiesty, and he would have like the major team names on their players' names, but then the other names, like for smaller colleges and shit like that, where I got homeboys that's over here playing for Cookman. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro,
you cut out, bro.
I'm sorry. I said, you just made a random damn name. What are you doing? All right, man. I can't deal with you, man. You got me for 25, but you ain't gonna give me again. But anyway. But so yeah, I think that's another point right there taking in. And Madden is on EA on the EA subscription, so that's a good start. I think you're on to something with that, because if NBA 2K in NBA 2K, those rumors are talking about that Rockstar wants, well, not Rockstar, but Take-Two wants to do a service. I'm all for it. That's what I'm saying. Like, now, if I don't actually own my property now, the stuff that I'm paying for, then why the hell should I keep on spending $60, $70, $80 for these games, or even $100, $120? You see what I'm saying? So like, it just doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah, no, I'm all for it. So yeah, this terms of service thing, it is something that they re-implemented for a reason, and your point sounded very, very valid. So people, just beware, just be smart. So we love our game, we love our games, we love these gaming companies, but we got to understand too, they're businesses, and they want that bread any way possible. So we got to protect ourselves anyway. We either push back to make them do something different, to make the wording a lot better, and you know what I'm saying, to where we don't have to read these stupid EULAs or whatever you call them, and these terms of services, with all the print and shit, or change it to where, you know what I'm saying, where we know that these games that we buy are just rentals indefinitely. And that's it. Or get a service. That's it. That's how we got to do it.
And like I said, I'm gonna reiterate this. In my opinion, subscription services are the answer for year after year games, with the caveat of being able to buy it if you really love that game. I mean, I'm still saying you should still have the opportunity to buy something, right? But for a lot of us that, end up just, you buy it 1 year, and then the next year you're like, I want to buy it, but I already know the year after that one they're going to come out with another one. So I'm just like stuck here. And that's kind of where I was with this recent NBA 2K. My boy ended up hooking me up with it because he's like, man, I need somebody to play with.
Right. Yeah.
So he hooked me up with it, but like, he already knew I wasn't going to get it. Yeah, I wasn't going to do it because I'm just like
2K this year. Not yet.
So yeah, it's just like if they want to stay consistent with a person like myself, which I feel like I'm not the only one, where it's just like, yo, you got to do something about it. And I feel like subscription service could be a way. But when it comes to when it comes to a game like Star Wars Outlaw that's coming out with Ubisoft, or Avatar, this most recent one, Starfield, or or Hellblade that's coming, or something like that. Oh, 100%. These games need to either be physical or be offline accessible.
Right. That's absolutely
Checking
right.
in to me is one thing. The whole DRM checking in, that's one thing. I don't love it, but I understand you got to make sure that I own it. I get that. But for me not to be able to so the only thing I don't really understand with the whole DRM thing is or checking in thing is like, if I have the disc, I shouldn't need to check in with shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have the disc, I shouldn't need to check in for shit. But if I bought it digitally, I completely get it.
Yeah, but I think the reason why they do that, because you know how people used to burn games and stuff like that. I think that was the the
Make
reason
it
why they
a
chicken
better
in.
way where people can't do that.
People like to find workarounds.
I
You know
know people
that.
like to find their ways and stuff
Yeah.
like that,
So
but
yeah.
that ain't my problem.
So, but that still ain't going to stop the game when the servers are shut down. The game going to still work. And
And that's
games
why I
takes
made it
updates now.
specific to games like Starfield,
Right.
Outlaws, and stuff like that.
Well,
To,
just
to games that don't need online for you to play, I don't feel like you should need to check in if you have some sort of physical thing plugged in or into your console. But if you are playing, like let's say that you're on a Steam Deck or something like that, and you're playing and you're playing Xbox on there. That would make sense because there's nothing to insert into the Steam Deck to say that you own the game. It's pretty much a computer, right? So you can't plug in an Xbox disc or stick or anything like that for it to read it. You would need the actual console itself to be able to plug in said USB or throw in the disc or whatnot. So you could remote play it just fine. But as for needing to check in, that should only happen on digital stuff. In my opinion, I get it. It's 2024 almost, and people have figured out how to undo and redo everything and burn and do all this other stuff. Nah, man. Y'all need to be ahead of the game if y'all really the premier consoles and all this premier stuff. Y'all need to be ahead of it to figure out how in the world that we keep this game available offline, as long as you have some sort of physical thing for the for the console by itself to detect without the internet. Just my opinion.
yeah, no, but I think you said that they need to find a better system. I think they did find it, and that's and that's what's the name of it? Like where they get fix the game while what I'm saying, fix the game like patches. That's what I'm saying. That's the method. Because think about it. Without patches, you wouldn't get these games to work better than what they already are. Or we just go back to the old school, like that game is just, it is what it is. You bought it, it's nothing going to be fixed. Gamers ain't going to accept that, especially like for instance for the people who have bought like Redfall. You think that people would accept that? They'll be like, man, why did this game get patched? Or like Spider-Man need patches. Starfield needed patches. So and especially like just for instance, if you just go this way, if you get this game and it's a single player experience and it's just like for instance, then Starfield wouldn't get DLSS. It would just been AMD. So I, as me who have a what I'm saying, a 4080, you mean to tell me I got, what I'm saying, my shit ain't going, man, I want to, I got to deal with that. So that's the thing that I'm saying, like they did find a way to where it works in their favor by patching games. That's kind of like their method of scanning your disk and going through that. So and again, your discs don't even really matter these days. Like I said earlier. So yeah, they found a way. But no, I get it. I just think that the old way is leaving quicker than I thought quicker than I thought.
It is.
And
it is, and
it's a shame.
It is, and here's the thing: we ain't gonna do nothing about it. We can sit here and talk about it all goddamn. we can talk about it until we blue in the face. Right. 2035, like it doesn't matter. They're gonna do whatever's making them money, whatever's whatever's making the check clear is what they're gonna continue to do. So we can be mad at Sony, we can be mad at Xbox, we can be mad at Nintendo. We can be mad at DRM. We can be mad at PC, Steam, whatever. If they see that people are still buying it, they ain't going to stop. They ain't going to revert to make it a better deal for you when they're making, fists and fists and fists of cash everywhere. Nah. No. That ship has sailed. It is gone.
It's out of there. And Sapo is kind of understanding my point of view on this by saying like a subscription service might be the only answer. You purchase a game, that license should go with you, should be added into your library. It makes no sense to own a physical game if you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the console, that's what the console was made for, and that's why consoles will not be made, because eventually these consoles they're already becoming irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting to the point to where we got 1 or 2 more generations left, and then that's it, Jack. There ain't no more of that. So let's go ahead and get to the last part of this so we can get out of here.
Yeah, I got to get out of here in like 5
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I gotta go pick up my daughter.
Oh shit. All right. So, the situation with Xbox being third party. Well, Xbox making a console in 2026. I'm saying so because it seems like it makes perfect sense in my opinion. I don't know about you. How do you feel about it? I just think that the strategy makes sense, especially since Xbox said that they weren't going to make a mid-gen refresh. Sony is definitely making one. It's coming out next year. Do you think that this idea is going to be effective for Xbox?
I think it's super smart. I think it's brilliant to do that, because here this other company is working on a pro console. So what does that mean? That means that they need to make games to make sense for that pro console. They can't just give you a pro console and give you nothing for it to even like even though the Xbox One X was short-lived, they still had One X enhanced games, right? So you'll still need to, if you're coming out with a PlayStation 5 Pro, you'll need to have PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced games, and you'll need to follow that up for a little bit. And I don't see them, we're coming out with a Pro at the end of 2024, possibly early 2025, but then gonna give you the PS6 2 years later. Right. So this is Xbox kind of sitting back and waiting for Sony to step into some shit. Mm-hmm. And then say, you know what? Oh, you dropped the Pro. Well, we just dropped the next generation. Right? And then you drop the next generation, then they're chasing you. You're not chasing them. And and then being able to say, you know what? We're holding off on the new Elder Scrolls until the next generation. So then we have this launch title, that launch title. with that. And we already have all these developers that are working on the next generation system and stuff like that. And we can just go on ahead and we can lightly back off of the Series S and X, but then still be able to have that cloud available, just like they're doing with the Xbox One, to where you can play Starfield on your Xbox One, just not natively. You have to do it on the cloud. And people have been pretty much saying that they're more than happy to pay for some new hardware again. You see the way people are all happy to see the new the new edition of the PlayStation, the Slim.
Right.
People are running out and buying that. People are running out and getting the Black Series S with bigger memory. Right? People are going out and getting OLEDs of the Switch. You don't think that people would want to be like, you know what? They're taking they're kind of taking the 360 method, dropping before PlayStation does, and it is looking like it's going to be easier to work on and more and see, that's what I think they're going to be, and that's one of the reasons I think they're going to be jumping to the next generation a little quicker.
Yeah,
is because they want something to be easier to work. I'm sure Xbox has heard this entire time about how the Series S has kind of been harder to work on, this, that, and the third, right? If they decide to make another version of the Series X, but next gen, I feel like it'd be at minimum as strong as something like the PlayStation PS5 Pro, and then have the Series X be a little stronger than both of those. Right. And into where it makes sense, but also be easier to develop for.
Right.
And then you're kind of taking them limits or whatnot and pushing them out there and making that series. Could you imagine if they say, hey, we're dropping this next gen, and the Series S is as strong or stronger than your PlayStation 5 Pro?
Bro, that'd be nuts.
That would make some people uncomfortable.
And it would be what, 350?
Yo. But anyways, yo, man, I got. I'm sorry, but I got to dip up out of here. I gotta go pick up my damn daughter.
Yeah,
she got out of school a few minutes ago, and yeah, I don't want to leave her.
No,
so I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. But you got your My Thoughts video you're gonna be doing here in a little bit, right?
Yeah, I've got a My Thoughts video I'm gonna be doing. So let everybody know where they can find you at, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find us next week on the CrossOver podcast over on my channel, TSWS Gaming, here on YouTube. I usually drop the link in the chat and stuff like that, but I ain't got time to do that, unfortunately, this time. Y'all just make sure y'all come check me out. Me and K Mega will be over there next Monday to do the same exact show. No GRG this Friday, so you won't see us back on this channel.
Not until the 15th of January.
I will be continuing to do videos and stuff like that pretty much throughout most of this holiday season. So you guys just make sure you keep your eyes open for me. But I got to get the hell up out of here. K Mega, it was a pleasure. Good talking to you, brother.
Talk to you later. All right, guys. Thank you so much. The poll, pause. Let's end it. Let's see what it says right here. Okay, will Xbox become a third party? We already got Phil Spencer's answer on it. He said it's not happening. It's just stuff to talk about, of course. 81% said no. 18% said yes. Who are you, 18%? Anyway. All right, guys. Really do appreciate it. For everybody coming and stopping through, definitely go check it out on Ham Solo's channel. Check us out next Monday on Ham Solo's channel. Also, I will be doing my thoughts video here within about an hour or so. Want to just get that out the way because I've been trying to do that ever since last week. And then, yeah, man, try to hit up Don and see if we can do Devin and Gamer tomorrow or Wednesday. So I'm going to sit there and try to do that. Try to give y'all some content this week, since there ain't gonna be no GRG this Friday or for the rest of the year. So, but thank you guys so much for coming through. It was always a pleasure, and always, love the support, man. Thank you guys so much, man. We'll see you next week on Ham Solo's channel. Peace.